lace, and this is another material you don't see very much. Oops, sorry.
I was married in ribbon lace, that's how I know.
Ribbon lace was very popular in the late 50s and the early 60s. It's very much a luxury fabric, and they must have had massive machines to embroider the lace on top of the ribbon, on top of the lace. It's a beautiful material. Now this has a very similar structure. It's probably a few years after this one, where it just has, it's like a fitted shift, and has a beautiful hourglass shape. It's a size 6, this dress, and like the other one, it has a high front and a low back, but the shape is really lovely. It's got little cap sleeves, and this would have probably been quite a lot longer originally, and someone's shortened it. It's all fully lined in an acetate.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you wanted to buy this material now, you'd probably be paying $100 a metre.
God, I should have hung up to my wedding dress, shouldn't I?
Sorry?
Do all your clothes have to have a label, or would you buy some homemade ones if
Oh,
they're good?
okay. Well, this is one of the things, is that post World War II, there was a lot of sort of mass manufacturing. But manufacturing in the 50s might mean you might get 100 dresses, while in the 60s it might mean you might get 1,000. Nowadays you get 100,000. You get a lot. But in the 50s and prior to the mid-60s, it was very common to have homemade dresses, because most ladies would. They might get their special occasion dresses made by a dressmaker, but their everyday clothes they would make themselves. And then once you get into the 60s, you get a few sort of changes happening. So, so these two dresses that I've shown you are from the early 60s. But during the 60s, what we get is we start to get a lot of manufacturing offshore, where the prices really drop. And you have that whole sort of youth explosion thing where people start to want cheap, disposable things. Because up until the mid-60s, it was more about having a beautiful dress, a small number of them, and you would maybe alter them, you know, or pass them to your sister or your daughter. But the dress was meant to last. You know, they were very expensive things, and people looked after them. But then in the 60s, you get this whole youth thing where it's all about the latest fashion. And so things start to really change a lot more quickly. So the next dress that we'll show you is something completely different, yeah.